Till now, about the importance of scriptures, we have discussed introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Then we discussed about the topic of soul, who am I? And after that, we started discussion on God. So yesterday we were discussing about, does God exist? And we also saw the definition of God. So today we are going to discuss the topic, who is God? And in this section, we are going to discuss very important topics like, of course, who is God? Based on the definition which we saw yesterday, today we will try to see who fits into that definition. Then we will see one God or many gods. Like, as I was mentioning yesterday, we have an idea that there are so many gods. So is it one God or we have so many gods? Is God personal, is a person, or he is in impersonal form? Like God has a form or he is formless? That we are going to discuss. And then we will discuss what are demigods or devatas. Demigods means devatas. So this is what the discussion for today is. It's very important discussion because many confusions will get cleared in this session. So I request all of you to be very attentive. Yesterday we discussed about the definition of God, and if you remember, we discussed that God means he is the supreme source of everything. He is supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer, and supreme controller. And also we discussed another definition, that God is one who has 6 opulences in total, in completeness. 6 opulences were wealth, strength, beauty, power, renunciation, etc. So now after hearing that definition, and these definitions are from the Shastras, now we will try to understand that what do scripture says about who is God based on this definition. So the first thing which we discussed was that God is the supreme source and supreme controller of everything. So Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, 8th shloka, 8th verse says, Aham sarvasya prabhavah mattah sarvam pravartate. It says, where Krishna is very clearly stating that I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. So very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that supreme source is Lord Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhava. Such clarity of views are not to be found anywhere else. Bhagavad Gita makes it very clear who is the supreme source. And not just the supreme source, he is also the supreme controller, supreme proprietor. As we will see here in Bhagavad Gita, he mentioned Yajjapi sarva bhutanam Bijam. Yesterday we were talking about bij. You remember? Seed. Bijam tadaham arjuna natadasti vinayatsyan maya bhutam characharam. So he says, furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed. Okay, so whether the tree came first or the seed came first, here is the answer. Krishna, he is the generating seed of all existence. There is no being moving or non-moving that can exist without me. So he is controlling everything. He also says further, Yad yad vibhuti matsattvam Srimadurjitameva va tattadevavagachatvam mama tejosha sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Everything comes from me. And not only in Bhagavad Gita, there is a scripture called Brahma Samhita, which is spoken by Lord Brahma. And in Brahma Samhita, it is very clearly mentioned, Ishwarah Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So Brahmaji in Brahma Samhita, he mentions about various devatas. But he says, Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. Anadir Adir Govinda. So he is the supreme cause for everything. This is accepted by or informed to us by Lord Brahma. And like this in various scriptures, it is very clearly stated that how Lord Krishna is the supreme source of everything. He is the supreme controller. He is the supreme proprietor of everything. So in that way, we can see that by that definition, Krishna fits into that definition of God. Another definition which we were discussing yesterday, the word Bhagavan means one who has, Bhag means opulences, and Bhagavan means one who's having all the opulences. So Krishna, let's see whether all the 6 opulences are there in Krishna or no. The first opulence of God, I'm saying first opulence of God, not his. So, but anyway, this is just to show, okay? So first opulence of God is wealth, right? Now let's talk about Krishna's wealth. We at least know the wealth of the industrialist or the rich people here. But can you count the wealth of Krishna? It is said in Brahma Samhita, Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambhrama Sevyamanam. In the abode of Krishna, there are hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis who are serving him. Here in this world, we are mad after only one Lakshmi, isn't it? Everyone is after that. On Deepavali, we do Lakshmi Puja and we keep our doors open that let Lakshmi come inside. And Lakshmi, of course, everyone knows, I don't have to describe about who is Lakshmi. But we have only one Lakshmi here and everyone is crazy about her. Krishna, in the abode of Krishna, hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis, they serve him. So he doesn't have to go to the bank to see how much is his wealth. In fact, he cannot know how much is his wealth because it keeps increasing every moment. That is his wealth. Even when he was here, let's talk about when he was here, how he showed his opulence, how he showed his wealth. So he was practically the king. He was not designated as king in Dwarika, but he was the king of Dwarika. And Dwarika had palaces. He married 16,108 wives he had in Dwarika. So I'm just giving you an idea. You have one wife, then you have some 1 or 2 houses, or maybe 3 houses, you take a flat which you give on rent, and then you feel I'm very rich. He had 16,108 wives. And actually the story goes that these all princesses were captured by a demon, and Krishna delivered them, Krishna released them. And after releasing, Krishna says, okay, all of you can go back to your home. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. So they said, what do you mean we can go back? He said, Hare, you have come from your houses. This demon had captured you. Now I have released you. I have killed the demon. So you go back to your houses, to your homes, to your kingdom, from wherever you are. So all of them said, they were 16,100. 8 marriages had already happened in Krishna. So 16,100. So all of them said, we have been here in his custody for more than a year. Now, if we go back, who is going to marry us? Right? We were staying with the demon. So then, how do you think? Do you think that when we'll go back, somebody will marry, some person will marry us? So Krishna said, so? They said, so? And Krishna said, what? He said, you marry us. Krishna never said no. Actually, people think that Krishna married 16,100 wives because Krishna wanted to enjoy. But here is a point, that Krishna married because he wanted to save the honor of those princes, that they should get an honorable place in the society. People should not blame them. Yo, they stayed in demon's house, we will not marry them. What will happen to them? So on the request, Krishna agreed. So when Krishna agreed, he told them, okay, you go to Dwarika, I have some more work to finish, I will come, but you go to Dwarika. And it is said, before these princesses reached Dwarika, the palaces were already made for them. There were 16,100 palaces ready for them. And you can imagine palace of king. It was not like we had some small flats in a building we made. 16,100. So this is opulence here we can see. Even when Krishna was in Vrindavan, what was his opulence? Like in the childhood, people play with those marbles, right? They have something they keep doing like this with marbles. Krishna also was playing, but not with marbles. He was playing with jewels. So you can imagine he was throwing one diamond like this. That is his wealth. That's Krishna. So no one can claim that he has more wealth than Krishna. In this world, as I said, with one Lakshmi as much, whatever you can get. Krishna, there is a lot of Lakshmis are serving him. So that is wealth of Krishna. Then the second opulence of God is strength, right? Have you seen any time this weightlifting competitions, at least on TV? I had seen it many years ago. So I saw that one person came who was a contestant. He had some powder put on his hand, and he was ready. And then he held the rod as if he was praying to the rod, please become light. And then after some time, after some meditation, he immediately picked it up, held it for some time. And when he was holding it, you should see the face of that person. It is as if for few more seconds, if we hold it, he will die there itself. It's like, okay, and then they throw it back, right? This is strength of normal, ordinary person. Krishna, he lifted Govardhan hill, right? For 7 days and 7 nights, not for few seconds. And of course, I doubt that whether he got a time to go to gym before that, to make his body, to prepare himself. You know how old was he? He was just 7-year-old when he lifted Govardhan hill. 7-year-old boy. So obviously he couldn't go to gym, probably. Yeah, and he lifted Govardhan on the small finger of left hand, not even right hand. Maybe after that, a saying in Hindi came, "Ye to mere baएं हाथ का खेल है." Right? Krishna wanted to say that, "Ye to mere baएं हाथ का खेल है." See, he didn't lift on the right hand, on the left hand. And he was holding it alone for 7 days and 7 nights when it was raining very heavily. It's not that the climate was very good, it was raining very heavily. Krishna was just holding peacefully. And he was smiling. If you see his face, he's smiling. It's not that, can you please help? It's enough, I can't hold it. And then others came. No, he was just smiling. He was enjoying. In fact, at that time, he wanted to play his flute. So he was trying to take it out, and Balaramji said, "Hey, Hold it properly. So this is his power, And you know how big is Govardhan Hill? Now, if you go and take one round of it, called Parikrama, it's 21 kilometers. 21 kilometers, like this. So which he just, at that time it was bigger than what it is now. It has shrunk in size. So 21 kilometers right now. So that whole mountain, hill, he just lifted it. An entire Braja, or all the Brajavasis, they came under it to protect themselves. This is strength of Krishna. So if somebody, sometimes people claim they want to compete with Krishna. They said he had 16,108 wives, so maybe I can also have 2 or 3 or 4. So we should tell them the first lift Govardhan Hill, right? If you can lift Govardhan Hill for 7 days and 7 nights, no problem. Then you can keep some wives. So they want one side. Oh, Krishna did it, we want to do it. So Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill also. He killed many demons also. Can you do that? So this is his power, this is his strength. The third is fame. Of course, we have so many famous people. So our fame or fame of people remain for some time, right? Few years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. How many of you know who was the king of this area 300 years ago? 400 years ago? Any of you? Anywhere it is written? Nowadays people play Olympics, right? And when they win, it's there in the newspaper. How many of you know that 8 years ago or 10 years ago, who won Olympics medal? Any of you? You see? So our fame is very short-lived. But Krishna's fame, he 5,000 years ago, not 5 years, not 10 years, 5,000 years ago, he did a small act of stealing butter. Can you imagine? It was not like he won the Olympic medal or something. Of stealing butter, which is not a very good act, right? But we glorify it. Even today, Krishna is glorified. Krishna, whatever he does, he is glorified. That is his fame. Even if he leaves the battlefield and runs away, he is known as Ranchhod Rai. There is a temple of him, right? Just imagine who can be so famous. You do anything, you become famous. He did anything. He was stealing butter, he is famous. He was fighting, he wasn't fighting, he was just present on the battlefield, he became famous. He left the battlefield, he became famous. This is Krishna's. Who is the person for thousands of years you can steal? And what is the thing? He stole butter. In your house, suppose your son steals butter or something, or goes to someone's house and steals something. Will you glorify him? Put it in the history books or something like that? But Krishna did it, and we are still glorifying him. The fourth opulence is beauty. And in this world, we see a lot of beautiful things, beautiful people. But it is very short-lived, isn't it? Beauty. How long? Maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And with all your cosmetic industry, 30 years, 40 years, right? Not more than that. Those film actresses who were earlier, in the early years, they were like, major attractions for people. Nobody even talks about them today. Isn't it? It's gone. Then next one comes, then gone. So it's very short-lived, this beauty. But Krishna's beauty, we still talk about it. He is even today most beautiful personality. Like if you see, I see many times this Ganpati is made. So many times I see Ganpati is made in Krishna's form, with the holding the flute, etc., which they shouldn't do. It's not correct. But anyway, they make it because Krishna is very beautiful. Krishna's beauty is unmatched. In fact, it is said that one time Krishna was going and in the pillar, because the pillar of his palaces were made of jewels, so he could see his reflection. And Krishna saw his reflection and he was wondering, who is this beautiful person? I've never seen him. Because Krishna's beauty goes on increasing. He was 120-year-old when he was standing in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. 120 years old. And he was just looking like 16-year-old boy. 16-year-old boy. That's all. At that time, he had his sons had his sons, and his sons had his sons. So he had great-grandsons. But if the great-grandsons stand next to him, they were looking same. Krishna, and that is Krishna's beauty. He never becomes old. I'm sure you've never seen Krishna's photo. Old person with white beard and all those things, right? Brahmaji, you see, is always with white beard. Krishna never. Nowhere. Not just in ISKCON. Nowhere you see Krishna's picture as an old man. He lived on this earth for 125 years. But he never became old. His beauty goes on increasing. What about us? After a few years, the beauty is only for short-lived, right? Then knowledge. In this world we see there are many knowledgeable people, very intelligent people. They give some theories, etc. But knowledge of Krishna, he spoke Bhagavad Gita and it took him around 45 minutes to 1 hour to speak. And it will take 45 lifetime for us to understand what he said. Right? Bhagavad Gita knowledge, it's so deep. Every shloka, every verse, every chapter, so deep. He just spoke like that. He just gave that knowledge. And this is just very, you can say, minute part of his vast knowledge. He is, and that was very casual talking. Okay, Arjuna, what happened? You don't want to fight? He said, no. Why you don't want to fight? Oh, this is the reason. Okay, do you know this? No. Do you know this? No. Oh, is it like this? Bas, finished. He gave Bhagavad Gita in that. Such. And I'm sure before the battle, he was not preparing the notes that I have to speak Bhagavad Gita. So he was like attending some course and making notes. Okay, I have to tell Arjuna. He just came up like that, right? That is his knowledge. And when we talk of renunciation means vairagya, or giving up everything. Now, okay, beauty is there, knowledge is there, opulence is there, everything we can understand, fame, etc. What about renunciation? Was he renounced? Krishna? I mean, in this world we see many people are renounced, they give up everything, they don't live in palaces, they don't have wives. But Krishna had 16,108 wives, he was living in palaces as a king. Was he renounced? What can be his renunciation? What can be his vairagya? Vairagya means he should live in forest. But he was living in palaces. No. If we see the renunciation of Krishna, very simple example I will give you. We make a house, we get attached to it, right? Krishna makes this whole universe and he just gives it to us. Okay, enjoy. He's detached to it. He doesn't want to come here. He just comes for seeing, okay, how is everything going on? He's so detached. Even when he was staying in the palaces, he was completely detached. Detachment doesn't mean that the person has to live in the forest. Renunciation doesn't mean to be an external behavior. Renunciation is a matter of heart. What is the real meaning of renunciation? You be among all the opulences, be among all the facilities, still be don't attach to it. That is real renunciation. If you have things and you are not attached to it, that is renunciation. Like suppose a beggar, he says, from today onwards, I have renounced everything. People will say, what do you have to renounce? Right? So what renunciation is there? But if somebody who has a lot of money, a lot of wealth, and he says, I renounce everything, that is considered as renunciation. So Krishna was staying amongst all facilities, among all the opulences, but he was not at all affected by it. When he was in Braja, Vrindavan, and he was about to leave Braja, go to Mathura, at that time, all those who were staying in Braja, they loved him so much that they were practically about to die, just hearing that Krishna is leaving. That was their love. But Krishna just left. How can you leave such people who love you so much? Krishna grew up there, but he just left out of understanding that yes, he has a duty to do. It was not his duty, but at least he has come for some purpose, so he has to fulfill. So like this various other examples we can have of his renunciation. So if we see as per the supreme controller, supreme enjoyer, supreme proprietor, he is the supreme source. Krishna is considered not only in just Bhagavad Gita, other scriptures also. And even from the point of view of opulences, Krishna is considered to be the supreme personality of Godhead. So he fits in the definition of God. And not only that, Krishna proves that he is God by showing universal form to Arjuna. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna requests to Krishna, can you show me this? I want to see universal form. So one universal form Krishna had shown to Duryodhana also. When he went there as a messenger of peace, at that time, Duryodhana wanted to arrest him. So Krishna displayed his universal form. So here we see, he proves, he shows. And not only here, when he was a small child, Krishna was a small child. At that time also, Krishna shows entire universe in his mouth, in his belly. Everything was there. This story all of you know. The friends complained, Krishna is eating dirt. Krishna says, no, I didn't. No, you did. Balram is saying, first of all, Yashoda asked, did you eat? He said, no, I didn't. No, your friends are saying, they are all lying. But Balram is also saying, he is also lying. So Yashoda says, show me, open your mouth. And then Krishna opened the mouth, and what did she see? She saw many planets. And amongst those many planets, there was an earth planet. And amongst that, in that earth planet, there was Vrindavan. And in that Vrindavan, there was Yashoda. And she was sitting and watching inside the mouth of Krishna. That's what she saw. Can you imagine? You consider, your child is there and somebody comes and complains, and then you open the mouth of your child. Okay, show me. And child opens, and then you see planets inside, entire planetary systems, sun, moon, everything revolving, earth revolving, so many planets. What will happen to you? That's what happened to Yashoda. She couldn't believe what's happening, right? She fainted, understanding that there is something wrong. But even at that time, she thought that maybe something has happened to my child. He's not God, he's my child. That was her love. So he showed to Yashoda also. So Krishna proved. But many a times, although we understand through scriptures, by the definition, although Krishna showed the universal form, but in present scenario, we claim that, okay, can you show me God? Right? Many of them said, can you show me God? So can you show me God? How is it? A fundamental mistake in understanding of God is, number one, God is not your order carrier. Right? Like if I stand outside on the road and I said, I don't believe Narendra Modi exists. Right? I don't believe. If he's there, he should come right now in front of me. Then I will believe. Otherwise, I believe he's not there. So why will he come? Right? Will he just come to prove, okay, he'll leave all his work and come running. Okay, one person somewhere in Mira Road, he's saying, I don't exist. Okay, let me go and show myself. He's not bothered, right? I can keep shouting and saying he doesn't exist. What difference does it make to Narendra Modi? He's just running the country. So similarly, we can claim, God, if you cannot show me, if he's there, he should appear right in front of me. Otherwise, I don't believe he's there. What difference does it make to Krishna? You keep shouting. He's continuing. He's playing his flute. He's enjoying with cows. So this is how. The first mistake is that, God is not our order carrier, that he should come. One time, a lecture was going on like this. Amongst them there was a boy. So he stood up suddenly and he said, all this is bogus. Whatever is being spoken is bogus. This is all. So what is it? God doesn't exist. There is no God. So he said, you want me to prove it? So everyone said yes. So he took out his watch and he said, I am giving 3 minutes time to God. If he exists, he should kill me in 3 minutes. And if he doesn't kill me in 3 minutes, that means he doesn't exist. Now, open challenge. You all think God is there? I'm giving you open challenge to God. So if he exists, I should be killed in 3 minutes. And the time started, tick, 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 tick. Now everyone was thinking, they're sitting, what's going to happen? If he's not killed in 3 minutes, we have been hearing from our childhood, God exists, God is there. But it will be proved because he has openly challenged. If God is there, he'll let him come and kill me. And if he is killed, there was other side also. Of course, most of them were thinking, if he is not killed, what will happen? And if he is killed, what will happen? There will be police inquiry. They will come and ask, who killed him? We say, God, right? So everyone was scared and thinking, what will happen? Most of them believed in God, so they thought this boy will definitely be killed. So they were just waiting and the time started 1 minute, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. Over. Boy was not killed. Of course, when the time was going, 1 minute, 2 minutes, the boy also was scared. Bol to diya, lekin. So at the end of 3 minutes, nothing happened. And the boy was joyful and he said, see, I told you, I openly challenged. If God is there, let me be killed in 3 minutes. But then I'm not killed. So it is a proof that God is not there. Now everyone started talking. What should we tell him? What is the answer? So one person came up and he said, please be quiet. Can I ask you some questions? They said, yeah, please go ahead. He said, I'm sure all of you have fathers. People thought, what a silly question, right? This is not a question to be asked, right? Obviously, father is there, that's why we are here, right? So he said, it's okay, yes or no? They said, yes. Okay, your father loves you. Obviously, father loves you. So he said, last question. Just to prove that he exists, he is there, will your father kill you? People said, why will he kill us? Just to show that he is there. No, he loves us, he will never kill us, just to show that he is there. He said, thank you. This is what I am saying. God, Krishna, is our Supreme Father. Just to prove that he is there, why will he kill us? He loves us. So the boy is not killed. That is a proof that God exists. If he was killed, that means God was not there. But he is not killed, God exists. So many times people just challenge, right? So first thing we should understand that he's not our order carrier that we will say, okay, come and he'll keep running wherever you want. The second thing is, do we have the qualification to see God? Like even in this country, you want to see some higher person, then you need some qualification, you need some reference, how will you go and see that person? You can't just walk into any place and see, right? But here we want to see God. Do we have qualification? What qualification do you have to see God? People don't take all that thing. We don't think all that thing, right? We don't have qualification and we shouldn't consider that he is our order carrier. So how do we see God in this world? Krishna or God, we need the eyes to see God. Like here few examples you can see. One is of the tree. Now when you see the tree, do you see the seed also from which the tree came? But you know that tree is there, then that there has to be seed, isn't it? Or when you see the fan running, do you see the current which is running the fan? But you are sure that it is the current, electricity, due to which the fan is running. You don't see electricity, right? I mean, don't try to see also. Like tomorrow you open the wires and want to see, before you see, somebody else will see you in Yamaraj's case. So fan and current. And like arrow, when the arrow is shot, so the arrow is going, you don't see the person who was shot when you see the arrow going. Or puppet and puppeteer. You have seen puppet show any time in your childhood? Any of you? Oh, you're fortunate. The next generation will not be so fortunate. They see puppet show also on TV, right? Or on mobile or on laptop. I remember we used to see puppet show when we were small. In the colony, the person will come and then, there'll be, in the night, everyone will come together. So we used to see only puppets dancing, wooden puppets. They'll dance, moving their hands, legs, everything, and somebody will be singing. But we never saw the person who's doing this, right? So there used to be a person behind who will have threads or wires tied to his fingers, and he will keep moving his fingers and they will keep dancing, right? So similarly, when we don't see all these things, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, just as pearls are strung on a thread, the entire world rests upon me. When we see this necklace or when we see these pearls, we don't see the thread which is holding them, right? We see the pearls. It's very beautiful, very nice necklace. But the thread which is holding them. And by seeing that, we understand that there has to be thread. Otherwise, they can't stay together. So similarly, Krishna says that the entire world is resting upon me. So when we see this world, we have to understand that someone is there who is running this world or who is controlling this world. So after discussing who is God, a question comes to mind. Okay, you spoke about Krishna. Krishna is God. So are there only one God or many gods? Or is God personal or impersonal? Personal means he has a form or he is formless. Let's talk about that. Very nice topic. One God or many gods? Actually, when we refer to the sun, so sun is referred to by various names, isn't it? Somebody says Surya, somebody says Bhaskar, some Aditya, Suraj, and so many other names are there for. But these are just different names. The sun does not change, isn't it? We call him by different name. Same sun. Or let's take water. In English we call it water. In Hindi we call it jal, pani. In Telugu I think, in Tamil we call it tanni. In Kannada we call it niru. Any other language you all know? What do you call it in Marathi? Pani. Okay. So, but does the substance changes? Can we say my water is better than your pani? Substance remains the same, right? It's only the different names. Similarly, when we talk about God, there is only one God, referred by different names. You may call him Bhagavan, you may call him Paramatma, you may call him Allah, you may call him Jehovah, you may call him Ram, or you may call him Krishna. These are different attributes or different names of same God. Allah means all powerful and Krishna means all attractive. So when we look at the Supreme Person as very powerful personality, we call him Allah. When we look at the same Supreme Person as a very attractive person, we call him Krishna. So it's all same, just the names differ. So our conclusion is that we have only one God but many names. Now that God, is he a person or he is not a person? That is a very important question. Many times we think or we have been hearing from our childhood different philosophies. Some says God has a form, some says he doesn't have a form. There's no form. God cannot have form. They say you cannot limit God. God cannot be limited in a form. He is unlimited. Asimit, Ananta. So what exactly is the truth? So when we talk of form or formlessness, let's take sun again. Sun has a form It's round, that is his form, shape. And then the sunshine, does it have a form? Sunshine doesn't have a form, right? You can give any shape to sunshine, catch it in something. Sunshine doesn't have form, but sun has a form. So from sun, sunshine is coming. From the form, formlessness is coming. But both the things are there in the sun, right? Similarly, when we talk of God, many religion do not believe in the form of God. They feel there is no form of God, right? Talk about Christianity. Lot of proofs are there in Bible itself where we can understand that there is form of God. Like you can read it here. The eyes of the Lord are mentioned. Under his feet are mentioned. Or fingers are mentioned. Like this, so many things you can see. Ears are mentioned. So if all these things are there, and in spite of that we say God is formless, then that means we are not accepting the scriptures. Or talk of Quran. In Quran also, Allah's face has been mentioned. His eyes has been mentioned. It has also been mentioned that he sits on a throne. So if he sits on a throne, then who sits? If there is formlessness completely, then whose eyes? Where will you see the eyes? Or whose face? So these things indicate clearly that Supreme Lord is a person. So now he is a person or he is impersonal? Our conclusion is he is both. Like the sun. Sun has a form and he has formlessness. So from the form, formlessness is coming. The light which is coming out of sunlight is formless. Similarly, God has a form, Krishna. And from Krishna comes the formlessness or impersonal feature, like the light. It is said in the scriptures that the light which comes out of the body of Krishna, that enlightens the entire spiritual world. Even Bible Krishna says that kingdom of God is self-effulgent. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama." That my abode, like in the Bible it said, Jesus says that kingdom of God is self-effulgent. Krishna says, there is no need of sun and moon in my kingdom. Na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha. So that means it is self-effulgent. So we understand that God, he is a person. He is having personal feature, but he also is in the impersonal feature, which is in the form of the light, which is coming out of his body. So it is very clear that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and all other features come out of him. He is the source of all the features. Now, who is God? We have just got information. Krishna is God. One God or many God? There's only one God, different names. Is God personal or impersonal? He is both. Has both the features, right? When we say God cannot have a form, we are actually limiting him. People say that by giving the form you are limiting, but actually by saying that God cannot have form, you are limiting. Why God cannot have something which you have? Everything comes from him. Aham sarvasya prabhava. So you have a form, but then you say God cannot have. That means you are saying he doesn't have power to have form. What is it that God cannot have? How can you say God cannot have? You have forms. So we are all his parts, and his parts have form, but the complete whole cannot have form. What a foolish statement. So that is why God has form. So now the question comes that, okay, there is one God only, then why there are so many religions? Isn't it? That if God is one, then why so many religions? There should be only one religion. One God, one religion, one book, Bhagavad Gita. So why there are so many religions? Let's talk about it. So why did God create so many religions? He didn't, these are the questions which we ask. Are all paths right? There are so many religions, so everything is right, or there is something wrong? Or do they lead to the same goal? If they lead to the same goal, then there is no problem. Follow any religion, you will reach. God is one, there are different names, different forms, different methods of worship, rituals, rites, etc. Why are there? So all these questions comes to our mind. So let's try to understand. Religions, why there are so many religions? Because religion is presented according to the ability of the audience to digest the truth. Like in Bhagavad Gita, message is given, but this is for spiritually advanced people, very highly advanced people. But there are others at that time who were not very spiritually advanced. Like, for example, I'll give you. A person is drunkard. He is drunk a lot, and maybe you can say he's lying on the road or in the gutter, right? There is a day in Bombay or Maharashtra they celebrate where they drink so much that they go in gutter, right? So you bring that person into the temple and then try to show him, see, he is Radha Giridhari, this Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, God Nitai. What will he understand? He is not able to stand properly. So what do you have to do? Take him somewhere, not slap him, but somehow, give him something so he comes to his senses. And then you bring him, when he is, out of this intoxicated stage, then you bring him, then you tell him, this is God, he will understand, right? So similarly, those who are not spiritually advanced, for them other things are given. For the less evolved morally and spiritually, suitably modified, same religion given in different form. Like for example, we tell you, when we teach spirituality to children, school children, we don't teach them the way we teach to elders. Or when we speak to scholars who already know the Shastras, we don't speak the way we speak to normal people. Isn't it? If you are speaking the same thing in the assembly of scholars and you have to present that God has form, you cannot just give these simple arguments. Then you have to go deep into the Shastras and Vedas and Upanishads and you have to prove it. See, God has form. So similarly, for different kind of people, different religions are given. A small example of that, Jesus himself says, what I speak of material, you are not able to understand, then what to talk of spirit? What is the meaning of that? The statement of Jesus. Meaning is, it is not that he didn't know. He knew everything. Right? He is Son of God. That's what we call Jesus. Not just Son of God, he is perfect Son of God. Because he did what a son should do, glorify his Father. So he is perfect Son of God. He knew everything. But he says very specifically, what I am telling you of matter, about the material world, that you are not understanding, then what to talk of spirit? This is a very clear statement of Jesus. That means he knew, but he did not give because they were not able to understand. Isn't it? But Krishna, when he speaks to Arjuna, he says, what I am telling you, nothing beyond that remains to be known. I am giving you everything. Very clearly. So you see, just see the difference. Here is Jesus who's telling us that, you are not able to understand, so I am not giving you. But here is Krishna who is saying, what I have given you, nothing remains to be known after this. So that is why we have different religion. Or we can understand by this simple example that when a child is there in the school, a very small child, so you tell him, you have 5 apples, or you have 5 apples with you. He said, yes. Okay. Then you give 7 apples out of it to someone. 5 minus 7. Right? What will he say? Or suppose you ask a boy, small boy, what is 2 minus 5? So for him, 1, 2, that's all. How will he remove 5 from 2? Right? He will say you are crazy. Isn't it? Just imagine, will he understand 2 minus 5 anytime? You explain him anything, he said it's impossible. And he will explain you, I have only 3 apples and you tell me to give 5 out of it. How can I give? What will you explain to the child? But when the child grows, then you ask him 2 minus 5. He'll immediately say minus 3. Isn't it? Then he will not question you. Why? Because his knowledge has increased. His level has increased. So it becomes very easy for him to accept. Similarly, in spirituality, we are when small children, and to explain the higher truths of spirituality, it seems absurd to us. It seems unbelievable to us. All those truths seems speculation to us. Like the child whom you asked 2 minus 5. Right? So similarly, that is why it is needed to be given some knowledge to the child, then some knowledge to the boy in the school, and some knowledge to the student in the college. Different knowledge, right? As per their level. And that is why these different religions are there, giving the knowledge as per the levels of the audience. And in these religions also, like when we talk of Islam, it's around 1300 years ago, 1300 years old. Christianity 2000 years. Buddhism, when we talk of Buddhism, it's around 2500 years. And Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna to Arjuna. It was around 5000 years, right? But the knowledge or the religion called Sanatan Dharma, it is there from the time of creation. And that is why when we talk of all these things, they are new dharma, but Sanatan Dharma means, and what Krishna spoke to Arjuna, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that this knowledge I have given already many millions of years ago to Sun God. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshva kave bravit. I have given this knowledge to Vivasvan, and Vivasvan was millions of years ago. And then Arjuna asked a question. You are saying you gave knowledge millions of years ago, but you are born with me. You are of my age, right? How is it possible? And then Krishna says, I and you and all these kings, they have taken births many times. I remember all my births, you don't remember. That's the difference. So that is why he has given. So this knowledge is there from the dawn of creation. So, as we were discussing, that different religion means actually there is only one religion, because there is only one God. But that same religion, or the principles of the same religion, are given at different times to different people as per their ability to digest, right? And as per, just so that they don't reject religion. If you give them something very high, people just reject it. We don't want, we can't follow. Right? Like suppose if I tell you, religion means you have to go to forest, stand on your leg, on one leg for 10,000 years, then you will, that is religion. How many of you will follow? What will you say? Better we become irreligious, right? We are adharmi better. We don't want to follow dharma. So when you give very high things, then there is a possibility of rejection. So to avoid rejection, it is given in same principles given in different forms. And to those people who are not very advanced, to bring them to advanced stage slowly, gradually, different religions have been given. Otherwise, there is only one religion. And how we can understand that? By seeing the similarities in religion. Like Bible says, here we can see, Bible says, love the Lord with all their heart and soul. Quran says, or if you take the meaning of the Islam, it means complete surrender. And Bhagavad Gita also speaks of the same thing. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. And if you take the essential principles of all religion, they are also same. Relationship is spoken in all the religion. They say God is one, we are His children. Revival of that relationship is also given, do's and don'ts. You should do this, you should not do that. It is given different way, but given all religions. And then realization of that relationship. That means once you realize, what do you achieve? These things are given in all the religions. So why are there so many differences? There are similarity, but why are there so many differences? The differences are, as I mentioned it to you, because of the level of audience. So here in Bible it is mentioned, ye men of less faith, I have a lot to tell you, but you cannot understand now. In Quran it is mentioned, thou shalt not have sex with your mother and sister. This is the 4th surah, verse number 23 and 24. Now, is it required for a highly civilized person to be told all this? And if it is being told, that means what were the condition in which the Quran was told? To which kind of people it was told? This is not to be told to any civilized person. We all already know it. But it was told, it is written. That means what kind of people were there whom Quran was being spoken. And of course, when we talk of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am giving you complete knowledge beyond which there is nothing more to be known. So that is why we find some differences. But they have all the same essence. They explain you to love the God. They tell you to go back home, back to Godhead. They say we are all children of God, surrender to the will of God. All these things are there. And differences are also there, although the essence is same, because different level of relationships are developed with Father or with God. If you remember, we discussed it yesterday. These 4 things: fear, desire, duty, and love. So some people come to God because they are fearful. Some come of desire and some duty and love. This we have discussed, so we'll just go ahead. So that is why we find many differences in scriptures and in religion. But the only scripture which talks about pure love, only about pure love, are the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. They just talk about pure love. The highest thing which a person should achieve, which a devotee should achieve or aspire to achieve, is the love of God. If you cannot achieve love of God, all your following of dharma is useless. Dharma is not meant to earn money. Dharma is not meant to enjoy facilities of this world. Dharma is not meant just to go away from miseries of this world. Real dharma is meant to love God. That is dharma. And if we can follow that, if we can understand that, then we will be following the right path. So the ultimate goal of dharma is to love God. If that is not there, that means we are not following dharma. And so, by Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, they take us towards Krishna, how to love Him, how to express our love to Him, how to receive His love. You see, we are qualified to receive God's love, but we are not receiving it. What is it that is stopping us? We want to love God, and God wants to love us. Krishna wants to love us. But what is it that is stopping us? That is explained in scriptures like Bhagavatam. It is our desires. It is our ego. It is our attachment to our material facilities. And how, being in this material world, you can still love Krishna and receive His love is explained in scriptures like Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And that is why I said they speak only about pure love, which we can experience in this world through serving Him here in this material world. So now we have discussed about who is God, one God or many gods, why are there so many religions. Now the next question comes. If Krishna is the one God, what about others? Right? We have so many names. Now the last question is coming. What about others? So many names comes to name, right? It comes to mind. There is Brahma, there is Durga, there is Ganesha, there is Shiva. So you say only Krishna. Maybe because you are devotee of Krishna. Okay, somebody can blame us. That because you are devotee of Krishna, you say Krishna. Right? But what about others? Don't they have any existence? Don't you talk about them? Okay, let's talk about them. Before we talk about Ganesha, Shiva, Durga, etc., let's talk about some little technical things. 4 tattvas. There are 4 different categories. Tattvas means let's take it as category. There is first category called Vishnu or Vishnu Tattva. That is the highest category which we are talking of, where all the incarnation of the Lord also comes, like Varaha, Narsingha, Matsya, etc. The second category is called Shakti Tattva. The first one is Vishnu, second is Shakti. In Shakti, all the consorts of the Lord come, like Srimati Radharani, Sita Devi, Mahalakshmi, Lakshmi, Durga, etc. So they all come in Shakti Tattva. They are Shakti. These words may be little difficult to understand, but Shakti means energy, right? And Vishnu is there. So Vishnu's energy is Shakti. That's called Shakti Tattva. And then we have Shambhu Tattva. We are talking about Shiva. So Shiva is not an ordinary person. He is not a living entity. But at the same time, he is not Vishnu also. He has a special category, and it is explained by Brahmaji in Brahma Samhita. He says, Kshiram yatha dadi vikara vishesha yogat sanjayate nahi tatha prathagasti heto yah shambhutam api tatha samupaiti karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahmaji says, like from the milk, you can have curd, right? So once the milk is converted to curd, can you convert the curd back to milk? So it's a Shiram Yatha Dadi Vikara Vishesha Yoga. As we see that milk is converted into curd, similarly Vishnu expands himself and turns into Shambhu, Shiva. But what is the difference between milk and curd? Milk can make as much curd as possible, but can curd convert back to milk? No. So Shiva is not God or not Supreme Personality of God, but is not an ordinary soul also. There is a special category. That is why Shiva is glorified. And the fourth category is of ordinary living entities like us, including Brahma. So please understand, Shiva is above Brahma. These categories which I said, it's in like topmost Vishnu, then his energies, then Shambhu, and then living entities. Living entities means all of us, soul, Jiva. So this is our category. And in that Brahma also comes. Because Brahma also has to die, isn't it? He is like us. And to be very frank, one of you can become Brahma one day. But you cannot become God. You cannot become Krishna. Why? Because Brahma is an ordinary living entity, whereas Krishna has a different tattva. We saw the 4 tattvas. Will you remember this 4 thing? What is the first one? Vishnu. The second? Shakti. Third? Shambhu. And fourth? Jiva tattva. So where are we placed? Vishnu? We are Jiva. So can a Jiva become Vishnu? Yes, we will discuss. We cannot become, right? So that is the 4th one. These are the 4 tattvas explained here. And before we go on to discuss about demigods, a very important question is there. Is Krishna incarnation of Vishnu or Vishnu is incarnation of Krishna? What is your idea? Vishnu incarnation? Or Krishna is an incarnation of Vishnu? All the incarnation come from Vishnu, or no? We say na Vishnu's ke 10 avatar, Dashavatar. So, who is the who incarnation? Tell me. Vishnu is an incarnation or Krishna is an incarnation? Or because you are sitting in Krishna temple, so if it was a Vishnu temple, you said Vishnu. So okay, let's understand. We shouldn't just speculate. We understand. Is Krishna incarnation of Vishnu or Vishnu incarnation of Krishna? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajami aham. When he says aham means I come. Whenever and wherever there is decline, Krishna says, in religious practices of Bharata and predominance of religion, at that time I descend myself. He doesn't say Vishnu comes at that time. So if you go to the scriptures, this is a very big misconception people have, that Krishna is an incarnation of Vishnu. But if you read scriptures, it is very clearly stated that all the incarnations are coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source of all incarnation. This is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Says, Ete chamshikalah pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. All the incarnations are coming from Krishna. Brahmaji himself said, we read that Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is the source of everything. So that is why this misconception should be cleared from our mind, that Krishna is not coming from Vishnu, but Vishnu comes from Krishna. It is explained that Krishna expands himself into Balaramji, the first expansion. And then Balaramji expands himself into Chaturvyuh. And then from Chaturvyuh that comes Vishnu, and then that Vishnu expands into 3 more forms. Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. This is all given in Shastras. We don't read Shastras, that is why we get confused. Very clear. If you read Shastras, no confusion. So when Krishna comes, now we talk about, we were discussing that if you are saying Krishna is God, what about others? So let's talk about other incarnation also. Descent of God, when Krishna comes down as incarnation. So how do we know? Like when he performs activities in the form of Narsingadev or in the form of Ram or so many, like these are Dashavatar. In fact, if you take the list of Dashavatar, in that Balaramji's name comes, Krishna's name does not come. This Dashavatar, and it is not that Vishnu or God has only 10 avatars, Dashavatar. These 10 are famous avatars. That's all. But otherwise, there are many, many avatars. Like Hayagriv is an avatara, which is not mentioned here. That is avatar of Krishna. So, Dashavatar, they are just famous. That is why we read. But in that also, there is no mention of Krishna. Balaramji is mentioned as avatar. So, let's talk about avatara. So, it is said that Krishna is the fountainhead of all avatars. All the kinds of different kinds of avatars which come, they come from Krishna. What is the purpose of avatara? To teach Yuga Dharma. There are various purposes. One of them is to teach Yuga Dharma. So avatars come here to teach Yuga Dharma. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago, same Krishna in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he propagated the Yuga Dharma called Sankirtan. The Kali Yuga Yuga Dharma is Sankirtan. What is Yuga Dharma? Yuga Dharma are the practices which are performed in different yugas. Or like yugas are like season. When there is winter, what do? Our dharma changes, na? In winter, what do we have? We wear warm clothing, etc., right? But when it is summer, dharma changes, right? When it is rainy season, dharma changes. So similarly, these yugas are like season. So every yuga, the dharma is different. So for this yuga, Kali Yuga, the dharma is chanting of the holy name, which was taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is called Yuga Dharma. Then he comes to destroy the miscreants, like we read in Bhagavad Gita. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata advyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajamiham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. So to kill or to destroy the miscreants, as we see Parshuram, he was empowered by Lord to do that. And they come to perform wonderful pastimes. Like Lord Ramachandra comes, Narsingadev comes, all of them they perform wonderful pastimes and to impart knowledge to us they give. So what are symptoms of an avatara? Let's talk about avatar. How can we identify avatar? It is very important for us to understand, because in Kali Yuga, anyone and everyone can claim himself to be avatara. Right? Kalki avatar, already there, 3-4, right? At a time. And so many others. People just claim themselves, I am Krishna's avatar. I am Kalki avatar, because they know Kalki is supposed to come in Kali Yuga, so everyone claims himself to be Kalki avatar. In fact, Bhagavatam says Kalki avatar is not going to come till the end of Kali Yuga. And right now we have 4,27,000 years remaining for end of Kali Yuga. Please understand. There was a news some time back. World is coming to an end in 2012, isn't it? I remember I was giving a lecture in one of the colleges. It was in November or December 2012. So after that I asked any question, and boy asked me a question. Sir, world is coming to an end in 2012. What do you have to say? I said, I will answer your question in January 2013. Because nothing is going to happen. Right? And nothing happened. And those who were claiming that 2012 world will come to an end, they postponed it. Now it will be 22. They need something, right? For some, like we have lot of material, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, so many scriptures we can speak on. They have nothing because they don't accept that. So they need something. So they said first 2012. So they became very famous because they are the first ones to say that Kali Yuga will end in 2012. But it didn't. So after that they said, no, actually it has been postponed to 2022. And I am guaranteeing you nothing will happen in 2022 also. Right? So because Shastra says that Kali Yuga is not going to end for another 4,27,000 years. The age of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 and only 5,000 years have passed. So don't worry. If anyone tells you that Kali Yuga will end in 2022 or 2000, he said, no problem, you sell your land to me. Anyway, it's going to end, right? So you sell it very cheap to me. At least you'll get something, carry with you, whatever money after Kali Yuga ends, right? So this is all cheating going on in the world, in the name of religion, in the name of incarnation. People claim themselves to be incarnation, Kalki. There was a Kalki incarnation, I don't know whether I mentioned it to you, and he went to the court. He was arrested and he was standing in front of the judge, and judge was a devotee. He didn't like somebody claiming himself to be God because he knew that there cannot be any incarnation. So he asked him, are you an incarnation of Kalki? He said, yes. Are you an incarnation of Krishna? He said, yes. Okay, tell me Bhagavad Gita. He said, sorry, in this incarnation I am not going to speak Bhagavad Gita. He didn't know what will he speak, right? But he said, I will not speak. So like this, people are cheating. They claim themselves to be Kalki, they ask money, they make money, and then they claim, okay, I am Bhagwan. But we should understand what are symptoms of the Avatara. The first one, he must be predicted in scriptures. So if someone claims to be Kalki or any other incarnation of God, ask him, where, in which scripture, sir, your name is there, that you were supposed to come in 2012 or 2010 or 2000. Where is it mentioned? Because for Kalki, everything is mentioned. Who will be his father, who will be his mother, in which place he will appear, everything is given. But still people take advantage of ordinary people not studying scripture. So they do not know what is there in the Shastras. So whatever someone says, yes. That is why our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he published scriptures in normal, ordinary language. Let people read it and understand what is there in scripture, so they are not fooled by others. So he must be predicted in the scripture. That is the first symptom of an avatara. All the avatars which have come, they are already predicted in the scripture. So you can ask that person. Second is, he must show his universal form, like Krishna showed. He must show his universal form. So if he claims himself to be God, tell him, sir, please show your universal form. And if he says, no, you don't have the eyes. Okay, I don't have the eyes, but you can give me the eyes as Krishna gave it to Arjuna. Krishna says this, I am giving you eyes to see this universal form. So you give me eyes, I will see. But they cannot show universal form, right? So he must show universal form. He must perform wonderful activities like Krishna did. Lifting of Govardhan hill, or Lord Ramachandra did. He made a bridge, right, across the ocean. Who has done it after him, you tell me? Such a big bridge. We have technology, we have advanced everything, but we are not able to make a bridge which he made 9 lakh years ago. Lord Ramachandra appeared 9 lakh years ago. He did it at that time, and now our technology, we say we have advanced. So why we can't make a bridge across the ocean? We cannot. And there he did it what? It's not that it took him, first the design was made and it was approved, and then, it took him years for the design. Nothing. Just he said, okay, how it happened? Lord Ramachandra reached the ocean and he wanted to cross it. Actually, he could have just crossed it without making bridge. And the proof of that is Hanuman. If a devotee of Lord Ram can cross the ocean just by jumping, so does Lord Ram requires a bridge to cross? Simple question. But he just wanted to show the world what he can do. So he wanted to build a bridge. So he stood there for 3 days and he asked the ocean, please give me way. He was telling the ocean that you give the way, I will cross from here. I will walk down. So after 3 days, the ocean appeared in personified form. And he said, my Lord, it's your rule that ocean doesn't give the way. Why you want us to break the laws of nature? So then Lord Ramachandra said, okay, tell me, how will I cross it? So he said, in your army, there is Nal and Neel, very expert engineers. Ask them to build a bridge. They will build a bridge. So Lord Ramachandra asked them to build a bridge. So this contract of the bridge was given to Nal Neel Enterprises. That's what, right? And then it was made. So they made it very quickly. It must have taken just a few days, that's all. And the bridge was ready. And they crossed it. And there was no pillars. This bridge, even now NASA has given the photos, so there is no pillars. There are no pillars like pillars are there. It's just a bridge like that. So, he should perform some wonderful activity. And he comes for a particular mission. Not that he just, he wanted to have a walk and he just came down to have a walk, right? He should come for a particular mission. And one more very important thing is that he has signs on his feet. Krishna has around 19 signs on his lotus feet. So, like, they are there on the feet. You don't have, I don't have any signs and nobody will have the sign. But God has, Lord Ramachandra had, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had. So next time you meet a person who claims himself to be God, so very humbly bow down to his feet, catch his feet, take it like that, and see whether the signs are there. Different signs I can show it to you what kind of signs. Like there are signs like lotus, there are signs of Kalash, many other things. So see if they are there. So if they are there, very nice, keep them on your head because he's God. And if they are not there, just throw him back. Don't throw him, he'll get hurt, but whatever, right? So don't get carried away by the useless talks of these cheaters. If it is mentioned, if it is there in mention in the scriptures, accept that. And now, I am guaranteeing you on the basis of Srimad Bhagavatam that for next 4,20,000 years, no incarnation is coming. So if for next 4,20,000 years anyone tells you that I am incarnation, he is lying. Very clear, right? Of course, you won't live for 4,20,000 years, but I'm just saying, if you do bhakti, you will go back home early. So this is about, and the last section now, we will discuss about devatas, demigods, quickly. Should I do it today or you want me to start it tomorrow? How many of you are willing to wait for some 10 minutes more? Of course, it's only 8:45, so up to 9 o'clock. Okay. Those who cannot, please sit, no problem, for 10 minutes more. It's just 10 minutes. Time is up to 9 o'clock, we still have time. But it's an interesting topic. Let me just complete it, and then tomorrow we will take the topic of karma. So, if Krishna is one God, then who are demigods? Very important question. We always see in the stories we have been hearing from our childhood, there was some problem, everyone went to demigods, then demigods went to Brahma, and then Brahma went to Vishnu, right? Kshirosagar. They went there and they offered prayers called Purusha Suktas. And then Lord gave them, okay, I will appear, don't worry, this, that, right? So even in those stories, we knew that, there is someone beyond this Brahma, etc. So now, let's try to understand what is the structure. Now, when we have a company, there is an administration structure for that company. We have a sales head, we have finance head, marketing, purchase, etc., etc., etc. Similarly, in the administrative structure of the universe, there is one CEO and there are ministers, right? So CEO is, or the owner is Krishna. And now we will see who are others. So we have in us a water minister in the form of Indra, because he gives us the rain. There is electricity minister, Surya, right? Sun, it gives us heat and electricity. Then there is power minister, Agni Dev, who gives us good fire power. Then there is, water minister again, because he's a minister for ocean, Varuna. Then wind, Vayu, different departments are there. Of course, finance minister, very important, Lakshmi Devi, right? This is, we don't have to speak anything about that. And then, of course, home minister, Durga Devi, yes. So we have finance minister, Lakshmi Devi, Durga Devi. She's considered to be the controller of this material world called Durga. This world is called Durga, that is why she's called Durga. She's in charge of this world. So she is a home minister, keeps punishing. And then we have defense minister in the form of Kartikeya, the demigods he protects. And then, education minister, Saraswati Devi, right? We always pray to her. So Saraswati Devi is there. Like that we have so many others. And a very important minister is coming up now, placement minister. Yes. In every company we have placement officer, right? So the placement is done by Yamaraj. So he decides, okay, what have you done? Okay, put you there or put you in this. Oh, you are fit to go back to animal kingdom. Go back. You are fit here. So he's very important post, placement minister. But surprisingly, we hardly worship Yamaraj. Right? Nobody worships him. No? Such a pity. He is in charge. He does everything. After you die, we have to worship him. But before that, nobody worships. He is a placement minister. And then, of course, we have our construction minister, Brahmaji, who creates this material world. He constructs. So, these are some of the, as I said, CEO or the main person, Krishna, God, and then there are demigods or devatas holding different portfolios under the instructions of Krishna. So now let's quickly go on. Okay, what we will do is, there are a few questions and answers regarding Krishna and demigod. We will take it tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow when you come, first thing we will discuss on this. Very important questions are there, just 5 or 6. So we will do it tomorrow. Is it okay? So better you'll be fresh to hear some things. So today we just discussed who fits into the definition of God. There are 2 definitions we were discussing. One about being the supreme source, supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer, and supreme controller. And we saw that Krishna is fitting into that. Then the other definition was a person having 6 opulences. Krishna fits into that also. And then we saw that if Krishna is God, whether he is personal or impersonal, we saw that also. We have both the features. And then we also saw today about the incarnations or Krishna's forms, and is he avatar of Vishnu or Vishnu is avatar of Krishna. And then in the last section we were discussing about demigods. We will continue tomorrow. Before we start tomorrow's topic, which is very important, tomorrow we are going to discuss why do bad things happen to good people. Now after knowing this, it is easy for us to understand. That is why this information, this knowledge was necessary. Now tomorrow we will discuss this. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
For more such devotional programs, please watch Hare Krishna television. To get this channel, please contact your cable or DTH operator. For more information, please call 8767 845 845.